Morning YouTube. Sam from Sam's Garden Maintenance. This video today, guys, this is my last day of gardening, I think, unless something comes up. Yeah, I think it's 16th of December, so it's very early actually. Well, to be fair, I've had to be a little bit strategic, and what that means is, or for an explanation, is that I've basically put off a little bit of work now into January, basically, because for one, the weather has been against us somewhat. It's just been so cold. It's like it's -11 now, and yes, I've always, you know, never really minded working in a frost. Doesn't bother me, because you know, if it's a frost, you can have a beautiful clear day all day, but when the lawn's frozen, the leaves are frozen to the lawn, there's not a great deal that honestly can be done. And if it is that you were to attempt it, well, you'd be there longer. And there's one thing that I've come to realise, is that my hardest thing is sort of getting winter work, and my next hardest one is getting my regulars to have me over winter, because there's like 3 types of people. There's one people that realise that, you know, some of them realise that there is work all year round and that they need it doing to keep on top of the properties, basically. There's another group of people, and this is the vast majority of mine, is that they themselves are very house proud to look after the garden, but they themselves, when they did the garden, they stopped doing the gardening at winter, either because it was too cold, or it slowed down, or there was snow on the ground. Maybe they were thinking back to when they were younger, that you know, there's 2 foot of snow on the ground. But you only remember the shit weather anyway at winter. You only remember the snow, or the rain, or the cold. And then there's the other people, which are luckily the minority in my case. They're the people who think that a gardening season is March till September. And luckily, I've managed to wheedle out all of them. So, for that middle crowd, the last thing I want to do is to basically say to them, right, I'll be here over winter, you know, and I turn up and end up doing either a shit job or a hard job. Now, it'll never be a shit job, because I turned up the other day and I knew I couldn't do it to the best of my ability, because the leaves were just stuck to the ground. No turning the beds over, no mowing, so I just moved it to another day. But the last thing I want to do is to provide a less than quality or less than normal service, because ultimately that's what they're going to remember, and that's what they're going to think back to, you know. So it'll make it harder for me. So that's what I've just sort of come up with in my own head. Maybe it'll be useful to you, because people do remember. And as I said, it's you are trying to sell them a visit, basically. And if it is that you turn up and it's not how they expected, or it doesn't go how you expected, then, well, yeah, they won't have you back next year. So just remember that. That's how I've sort of seen it. But I'm happy with how it is. I'm looking forward to time off, but me being me, whether it's a bit of undiagnosed ADHD or God knows, I don't know, but I don't like sitting still. So the thought of having nothing on is not worrying me, but it's niggling me. Now, I'm sure you guys yourself have got that, you know, because I think we've all got a little bit of something to be wanting to be self-employed, if you get what I mean. So maybe you guys are thinking, oh, yeah, you don't cope well with having nothing on. and hopefully you're lucky enough where you've got a shitload on. That's the hopeful part for you. But for me, I've got maybe a couple of little jobs before, but by and large I think I'm pretty much done. If it is that I have, you know, it'll be odds and sods, and as I said at the start, I've put off some work till January. But what will I be doing now till Christmas? Well, seeing people, going and seeing friends, probably meet up with Reese and have a chat with him. I've got to help out another friend picking some cobbles up for him. It's a sad story. It just makes you think how lucky you are, and without sounding offensive, I've got to drop off cards. That's all sort of come to a head now. Hopefully the last little bits have done, but I'll leave that for another little video, because again, I think everything I try and do, I try and push it towards a business. So I will show you that, and I'll show you a couple of examples of the cards, and I'll show you what I've been doing, and then that will conclude the part 2 of the jam giving session. So I've got to do that. I'll probably spend that over a couple of days. If I do it in one day, I'm going to be there and everywhere, I think. But I'll spread that out over a couple of days. And then when it comes to a new year, well, I've got to break down and service all my tools. That itself is a job in itself. Ordering all the stuff, and then I'll just, as I say, I take, you know, give it all a good clean. I try and keep the kit clean anyway, but I try and, you know, take that cover off and hoover all the grass out, you know, and like the mowers and stuff, and just stop build up, take the blades off, check them over, sharpen them, you know, so just give everything a good service. I've got to service the power washer this year. I've got to change the gearbox oil. I've never done that before, so that'll be interesting. But I've got to change that. It's got a little viewport, and it looks really clean. So I've not put too many hours on it, to be fair. So that's another job in itself. So yeah, tool maintenance, cards, and R&R. But what I'm doing to sort of not cope, but so I can feel a sense of accomplishment, is just writing a little list for every day, and it's only little fucking things, like one day I want to like tidy the workshop, organise the small parts. Another day I want to prototype this for like the new robot, and then one day I want to get the mower serviced, or one morning I want to get the parts ordered, and another day I want to get the mower. You know what I mean? It's little things, because trust me, if you don't have a list and it's not on your radar, this is when like procrastinating really sort of comes into play, and you end up sort of like, you end up having a day where you don't really achieve anything, and I always find that so frustrating. And this has come from me having, where when I was starting the business I was still working full time, and I only had 2 days off, so I had to squeeze everything I can into those 2 days, and then that normally left me with a little bit of free time in the afternoon, which was my personal time. So that's where it's all come from. But as usual, guys, keep on gardening, have a good day, and you know, whatever you decide to do, go for it.